We're here with Whit Whittlesey, who just flew in this beautiful plane behind us. Can you tell us a little bit about it, Les?
It's a 1939 Lockheed Electra Junior, a 12A. It was the smaller version of the Lockheed 10 that Amelia Earhart, everybody hears about, flew around. And we acquired the airplane about 5 years ago and spent about 3.5 years working on it, and it's just flying here today.
Oh, it's beautiful. Can we have a look inside?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Hi, we're sitting inside the Lockheed 18906, and this is how people used to travel in the day. The interior you see here is all original, down to the exact location of the welt cords and the seats. And even in the old days, one of the things they had up here at the top is the old hat nets where you used to put the hats. What was very ironic back then too is that they had just plenty of ashtrays here. Everybody gets smoked in these things, which sounds crazy today. But this was actually pretty comfortable aircraft. The 21 of these were used by the oil companies as executive transports. This aircraft actually was owned by E.L. Cord, the founder of the Cord Card Company, and it was his personal aircraft that he had for 2 years until it got indoctrinated by the government and was sent over to England for Lend-Lease. What you see right here in this area, this is the power quadrant, and this is where all your engine controls are. We took this out, completely disassembled it, and totally rebuilt this. These had been all been painted over the years. We took them down to the original Marcadia finish, polished them out, and then clear coated them to be just like they were in the factory. Up here, you see in the front of the instruments, this is where all your flight instruments and some of your navigation instruments are. There's your attitude indicator, there's directional gyro, you have your vertical speed here, your altitude, you have your little clock down here, but over here you have like airspeed, and in the center here we have these instruments are for the fuel gauges, and then on the right hand side is the primary engine instruments for your power settings. In the center of the panel we have all new avionics. We have GPS, we have satellite weather, we have traffic avoidance, which shows other airplanes that are transmitting on the transponders. So we have 1930 technology with all the aircraft really designed exactly how it looked in the 1930s, except for this little section right here. And where the current avionics are, there was only really 2 instruments there originally, an autopilot and a directional gyro. And here we get 2 radios, GPS, and this TV screen here that lets us put up maps and instrument approaches, and really the modern conveniences of avionics today. We have the engines on this aircraft are 2 Pratt & Whitney 985s. They're 450 horsepower per side. The propellers are Hamilton standard. They're constant speed, and they're full feathering.
We're here with Mike Pauley, who just flew in this beautiful plane behind us. Can you tell us a little bit about it, Mike?
Yes, this is a Russian Antonov. It's the world's largest single-engine biplane. There's actually more of these airplanes built in the world than any other aircraft. There's 20,000 of these, but you just don't see them very often here in the United States. Some of the unique things about this airplane is it has a takeoff speed of about 35 miles an hour and a cruise speed of about 100 miles an hour.
Okay, and can you tell us who owns the plane?
It's owned by the Commemorative Air Force. They're based in Midland, Texas, and we're a flying museum. We bring these airplanes into air shows all across the United States, and we bring them here for the public to see and see fly. This is the typical view of a World War II airplane. Looking out the front, where it was what we call a tail dragger configuration. These airplanes in World War II that sat on their tail and the nose stuck way up in the air. So the view for taxiing was actually quite difficult because you couldn't see where you were going. You actually had people on the ground that would give you direction, or you would do what was called an S-turn as you taxied, so you could look on both sides of the nose. But you see you've got this 14-foot propeller and this giant nose sticking up. Makes it just a little bit difficult to see where you're going. Inside the cockpit, this is a Russian airplane, and everything in it is still in Russian. You'll see that we've got the radio equipment has a Cyrillic on it. We've put some English nameplates over it so we can understand what all these buttons and gauges are for. The starting sequence in this plane is about a 50-step process of turning on gauges, flipping knobs, pulling dials to get the engine started. And flying it is like flying a motorhome with 4 flat tires. It definitely is a heavy machine to fly. No power steering, no power brakes. Okay, this aircraft was used as a troop transport and an air ambulance. It has some of the standard equipment, some AK-47s, We've got a picture of Joseph Stalin, we call him Uncle Joe, who was the leader of the country at the time this airplane was designed. This is the paratrooper model, and what would happen is paratroopers would sit in these seats that fold up from the floor. When it's time for them to jump, lights will come on the back. They'll stand up, take their parachute tether, lock it into this overhead line, walk back, and as they jump out the door, it pulls their parachute for them. Once the paratroopers are out, the plane has the capability of landing on unimproved areas, picking up wounded. Along the side, you'll see that there's installation points for 4 stretchers, a pair low and a pair high. And once the paratroopers have been deployed, if there's any wounded on the ground, the plane can land in unimproved areas. We've got straps overhead that we pull down, lock in the stretchers, and we can put in 4 wounded and transport them back out.